At exactly 5:42 a.m. in the North Sea, off the coast of the Netherlands, radar screens at Ramstein suddenly turned blood red. Alarm sirens tore through the silence of the command center. An unknown signal appeared from the north, right in the heart of Europe's busiest civilian shipping lanes, where hundreds of cargo vessels pass every day as if war had never existed. MT Baltic Star, an aging oil tanker with freshly polished paint, abruptly vanished from the AIS tracking system. In an instant, the K containers on its deck slid open. Cold metallic clangs echoed across the sea. From inside, dozens, then hundreds of rotors began to spin. A swarm of Shahed 136 drones shot skyward, forming a dark arrow, skimming just above the waves, heading straight toward the port of Rotterdam and Germany's massive LNG storage facilities. This is not a civilian ship. It is Borai, a ghost vessel of Russia's Shadow Fleet. An ordinary oil tanker outside, Club K containers inside, hidden missile and drone launchers. NATO sees nothing. Patriot radars in Germany and the Netherlands stare east, blind to the sea. No one expects a strike from a commercial ship drifting through civilian traffic. Less than 20 minutes remains. If the killer swarm breaks through, Northern Europe's energy grid burns. Rotterdam shuts down. Millions of German homes lose gas in winter. The Pentagon warned for years the nightmare is now. But what Moscow failed to consider was this. They were not facing Europe alone. Hidden in the darkness of the ocean, the United States Navy had been quietly watching, laying a high-tech trap that Russia never anticipated. Would American naval power stop the disaster before it was too late? Fasten your seatbelts, because this conflict begins now. Allied Air Command activated its Emergency Interception Protocol code Scramble Alpha. Squadrons of German and Dutch F-35A Lightning II fighters roared off the runway, slicing through the early morning fog over the North Sea. Within 60 seconds, they formed up in combat configuration at 15,000 feet, ready to confront the incoming swarm of lethal UAVs. From the cockpit of the lead F-35, German pilot Captain Hans Kruger tightens his grip on the stick, breath pounding through the oxygen mask, sweat pooling under the helmet as the HUD ignites with red dots. Shahed, 136 seconds inbound.
Box 3! Box 3!
He calls, loosing AIM 120 AMRAAMs. Missiles tear off the rails, contrails slicing the sky, 1, 2, 3 kills, drones bursting apart, debris raining fire into the sea. Then the real nightmare begins. The panel flashes, 2 AMRAAMs left. In the first 90 seconds, the flight downs 1-2 targets at a cost of $14.4 million, spent to swat $20,000 flying lawnmowers. Each $1.2 million AMRAAM, built to kill MiG-29 seconds and Su-35 seconds, is burned on scooter engine drones. The math of defeat is brutal. To stay stealthy, an F-35 carries 4 internal AMRAAMs, plus 2 sidewinders, 6 total. With real-world 80-90% hit rates, a 4-ship can kill only 20-24 targets before turning back to rearm, losing 15 precious minutes. Meanwhile, Borai keeps spewing UAVs, 50, 100, 200, driving target saturation. Even the F-35's AESA starts to lag. The HUD flickers into chaos, hundreds of returns stacked, forcing pilots to manually sort real drones from ghosts. Keep this up, and Northern Europe's air-to-air stocks are gone within 2 hours. The sky left bare, while Russia still holds thousands of Shaheds across its Shadow Fleet. Kruger shakes his head.
We're hunting flies with rifles, and the flies never end.
Using gold-plated fighters to kill cheap drones isn't sustainable. Moscow calculated this, turning NATO's technological edge into an economic weakness. The Air Force is trapped in a UAV storm. NATO's Navy goes straight for the source. HMS Diamond, a Royal Navy Type 45 destroyer near Dogger Bank, receives a flash order.
Close the Russian target. Maximum speed. Destroy the launch platform.
The CIC turns into a pressure furnace, red lights pulsing, alarms screaming. Range 25 nautical miles. Mark 8 gun locked. Lieutenant Sarah Ellis shouts. Captain James Hartley commits. Naval gunfire on Borai's deck. Aster missiles held back. The trap snaps shut. Borai activates a compact electronic warfare suite, Murmansk BN class. Diamond's radar detonates into chaos, thousands of ghost targets. Fire control computers overloaded, GPS jumping miles off track, blind. Then Lancet 3M loitering munitions surge in, a 22 nautical mile suicide screen. Diamond is forced to light up CIWS, walls of tracer pouring out without radar eyes, the deck shuddering. Peak crisis. Optical sensors catch Borai sliding toward the civilian ferry P&O Pride of Rotterdam. 1,500 souls aboard the Gap, shrinking under 500 meters. Fire now and kill civilians. Hold fire and lose the fight. Electronic jamming, inbound drones, a civilian hull in the line of fire all at once. The CIC fractures, a perfect deadlock. HMS Diamond breaks off, awaiting reinforcement seconds from catastrophe. At the decisive moment, the U.S. Navy enters the fight not with roaring guns, but by crushing with intellect. The Pentagon saw this board long in advance, turning NATO's nightmare into a strategic trap that Russia walks into on its own. At 30,000 feet, the P-8A Poseidon, the silent, all-seeing eye since Ramstein went red, awakens, not sweeping blindly, but filtering noise to find a heartbeat. ALQ-240 comes alive, drawing a real-time RF spectrum map inside a sea of chaotic civilian signals. Poseidon's AI coldly isolates the Russian UAV control band's thin strands commanding the Shahed swarm. Borai laid bare under electromagnetic X-ray. The data rips across Link 162EA-18G growlers waiting on the western horizon, digital phantoms carrying ALQ-249, AESA compressing energy into invisible needles. In the cockpit, EWO Alex Rivera doesn't pull the stick, he types. Inject malware, lock GLONASS. No blast, no smoke neurosurgery. The virus corrodes navigation. Hundreds of Shaheds convulse, lose bearing, slam into each other or plunge into the North Sea, a glittering rain of metal. Saturation hacked, Rivera says, coolly killer bees reduced to flies. But the US doesn't stop. A psychological feint follows. ADM-160 MALD-X launches, perfectly recreating the radar signature of B-1B Lancer's Mach 0.9, 40,000 feet, V formation, sending Borai's warnings into collapse. In the darkened cabin, Captain Viktor Kuznetsov freezes. B-1B's inbound, 12 large targets. Panicked, he orders everything fired. Pantsir-Me erupts, pouring fire at a phantom formation. The civilian mask is ripped away. Club K, suicide UAVs fully exposed, a blatant breach of international law. Legal justification is complete. Kuznetsov realizes it too late. MALD-X didn't just hack the radar, it hacked his mind, turning fear into the deadliest weapon of all. They could have destroyed Borai. One strike, one explosion. 50,000 tons of crude oil poisoning the North Sea and turning Europe's coastline into a maritime Chernobyl. But that was not the objective. Instead, the United States chose precision over devastation as two F/A-18E Super Hornets slipped in low beyond defensive range, Growlers clearing the path while Captain Mia Torres locked onto the target and released the LRASM, its AI guidance active as the missile skimmed the waves at Mach 0.8, twisting and adapting in real time, slipping through radar gaps and frantic defensive fire, and at 500 meters it did not impact but climbed, detonating in midair above the command tower, in a silent burst of high-power microwave energy that sliced through the ship's nervous system, frying circuits, killing radar, blinding sensors, silencing communications, freezing engines and weapons in less than a second. No explosion, no fireball, only the sudden absence of sound, as a warship that moments earlier roared with life became a drifting shell, intact yet blind, deaf, and paralyzed, and from the cockpit, Torres calmly confirmed the outcome, target neutralized, no electronic activity, a victory not achieved through annihilation but through control, proving that modern warfare is no longer about destroying the body of the enemy, but about shutting down its brain. U.S. Navy SEAL teams and the UK's SBS swiftly carried out a VBSS operation, boarding the disabled vessel and detaining the Russian crew, who were panicked in complete darkness after total power loss. There was no meaningful resistance. The Borai was towed to a NATO port for investigation and demilitarization. The UAV attack was fully stopped. No civilian casualties, no damage to Europe's energy infrastructure, no environmental disaster. But there were no victory cheers at the Pentagon or NATO headquarters. This was only the beginning of a more unsettling reality. Russia's Shadow Fleet had demonstrated a real capability. Despite a tactical failure, it achieved a strategic objective, forcing NATO to monitor hundreds of seemingly civilian vessels that may conceal weapons across the oceans without disrupting global commerce. Naval warfare has entered a new chapter. The line between merchant ships and warships has completely blurred. The winner is no longer the side with the most firepower, but the one that can turn the adversary into harmless scrap metal before they even realize what's happening. This video is based on real-world developments, but is dramatized to better illustrate tactics, technologies, and military doctrine. Some details are hypothetical, intended for education and entertainment. What do you think about this chess match? Who truly wins in this new era? Leave your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching. It's been over 12 minutes and 10 seconds. Dismissed.